The call to action is one of the most often cited tools in getting people to convert on your landing pages. In fact, it's so important, there's even a marketing conference named after it, the Call to Action Conference, which is put on by Unbounce in Vancouver, Canada each year. I never miss it, so if you attend, let me know and come say hi. For now, though, let's look at how you can improve your on-page call to action. These are 5 very specific tips for improving a call to action. First up, be specific. You can do this by using a strong command verb in your text, such as get, or try, or buy. Second, use a contrasting color for your call to action. Now, you might have heard about the old A/B test where you test the button color of your call to action, and some marketers might even tell you that a certain color always converts better. But that's just not true. Colors are subjective, and they mean different things to different people. So don't just focus on one universal color, but make sure your calls to action stand out from the rest of your page. You can do this by using a contrasting color that isn't used much elsewhere on your page. Next up, you should repeat the call to action throughout the page. It's not enough to only put it at the top, as some visitors will keep scrolling. I usually aim to have the call to action at the top, middle, and bottom of the page at a minimum. You should also try to limit each page to just one primary call to action. There are exceptions to this rule, of course, but what you want to avoid is a page that has a completely different action pulling the visitor in different directions everywhere they look. If you have a form and a phone number, though, that's fine. Even though these are 2 technically different calls to action, they're both tied to the same objective, which is generating a lead. So that's fine. And lastly, use urgency and scarcity when appropriate to help people take action. But only do this when it makes sense. Don't add elements of urgency or scarcity that appear inauthentic. A good example of inauthentic scarcity is if you're offering a free ebook and you mention that there are only a limited number of copies available. That's just not true, and the visitor will pick up on this. So use these triggers with caution. To bring all 5 of these tips together, here's an example from Leadpages of one of their webinar registration lead capture landing pages. They do a good job with their call to action throughout the page, and you can see that it's very specific. It says save my seat, and it stands out from the rest of the page with a contrasting color of purple. It passes what's called the squint test, where if you were to squint at this page, you'd still notice the call to action. Also, the call to action is repeated throughout the page, 3 times to be exact, at the top, middle, and bottom. They did a good job of limiting the type of call to action to just one single activity, save my seat. You don't see options to also sign up for a newsletter or buy now or anything like that. And finally, there's a slight element of scarcity here in the call to action button text. Save my seat implies that space is limited, so you better act now. This is a great way to use urgency and scarcity in a way that doesn't appear forced. Overall, this is a really well-designed page. You're now well on your way to getting all of the building blocks in place that go into a well-performing landing page. Copywriting is a huge part of it, but the design of your pages also matters a lot, and design is what we'll be looking at in the next part of the course. I'll see you there.